Welcome back. I usually grow tomatoes in warmer months, but this winter I decided to experiment. I wanted to see can I grow tomatoes actually in winter, that too with limited sunlight. And what I observed surprised me. Normally, I wait till March to grow tomatoes because they love warmth. But this time, instead of waiting, I decided to go into experiment mode, not expecting fruit, but wanting to learn. I planted a tomato sapling in a grow bag. I've mentioned the details here. I used regular soil mix, nothing special. The placement was important because in winters I do not get enough direct sunlight. So here, while planting the seedling, I use humic acid. So usually after every repotting or replanting, I water every plant using this humic acid because it helps plant with its root because it goes in a shock mode when you move it to a different house altogether. So this helps. Now this is post 1 month. So the plant was doing perfectly fine. I could see the growth. Despite winter, the plant responded well. It grew steadily, and once it gained height, I even removed the suckers. I also kept the plant close to a wall to protect it from harsh winter winds. When I saw flowers appearing, I was honestly very excited. I even gently shook the flowers to help with pollination, hoping at least one would set fruit. So usually in big grow bags or in big pots, you would need to use a lot of soil, which I find it really difficult. So what I tend to do is I do not fill the entire pot with soil. I tend to add it once it is needed. And when I'm planting the plant initially, I use a lot of dry leaves at the base. So that also saves using too much of soil. Now here, as stated, I have added some extra soil, in the sense of soil mixture, because the root fibers were visible on the top layer. So this is my go-to mix that I use whenever I see that there's some extra space where I need to add some extra soil. So I tend to use neem kali, rice husk, which is perfect for aeration. Some people say that you may even use the other husk, which is called bhusa, the wheat husk. But I believe that one doesn't provide that great aeration, compared to the rice husk itself. So rice husk is better, or you may stick to cocoa chunks or cocoa peat. That also does the job. So with vermicompost, the layering has been done. Now, after adding some additional soil mixture or a fertilizer mixture, you may call, I noticed these additional suckers. So I removed them so that we can conserve the energy of the plant, expecting some fruit. One day, strong winds caused the plant to break near the base, but thankfully it did not completely snap, so I decided not to touch it. I kept the plant as it is, just made it upright, gave some support, and made sure that it's untouchable, hoping that what if it gets healed on its own. But I wasn't sure if that actually is going to happen, because I had no idea if this was a mistake, but something interesting did happen later. Now, days passed, then the reality hit. At night, temperatures dropped to around 4 degrees Celsius. That's when the flowers started drying and falling off without forming tomatoes. Cold stress clearly affected pollination. So, no tomatoes found for the time. And the white thing that you see, these are just pigeon droppings. Now, what I believe here is, the leaves stayed fresh and healthy, which means the roots are still transferring, water. The connection isn't fully broken with the stem itself, and that itself was a big learning for me. So my goal was to see if tomatoes can grow in winter even without fruiting. This experiment taught me something new. With more direct sunlight, I truly believe winter tomatoes can work. If you have experience or suggestions, you can absolutely share that with me in the comments. Till then, goodbye, take care. Thank you for watching.